I touched on this a couple of weeks back, and it's about when you fall out of love of a place that you've been visiting for many years, and there's this real longing in your heart for the place to be as it was once more. And for me, that's Ubud here in Bali. I think I want to fall back in love with this place. So I'm doing this series of looking around Ubud again at times that I know it's going to suit me better. Times when the sorts of people I don't really like aren't out of bed yet. So I'm here just before 7 o'clock at a little cafe on the outskirts of Ubud, a couple of kilometres from Ubud actually. And I'm gonna have a bit of a walk around today. I'm gonna have a coffee first, but I'm gonna walk around, see what's going on in the neighbourhood and see if I can get a sense of what this place really is like now, and see if I can reconnect with what it was once before, because I think there are lots of places in the world that we once loved and sort of fall out of love with, and I wonder if you can actually fall back in love with them again. Actually a fairly gruesome start to the day. That guy over there, when I arrived, I saw him sort of digging around, and I thought, oh, he's going to make a fire. But he wasn't, he was digging a hole, and I noticed these dog legs sticking out of a cement bag. And his dog was in the bag. I said, oh, what happened to your dog? And he said, oh, I was sick, it died last night. And he's burying his dog. So I thought that was weird, but it's just the way it is, isn't it? So let's go and have a coffee here. This place is called Tavara. And got a pretty good rating. But this is a cute little dog that the shop's got. He's actually been into the rubbish this morning, as dogs in Indonesia tend to do. They get into the rubbish, don't they? A little naughty thing. I'm probably a little bit terlalu semangat this morning. Too excited to get in here because they're not even really open yet. They said I can go in and have a look around. Hello. Oh, look at the nice place. It's quite small, but look at the beautiful place. Look at that. Isn't this beautiful? Just opened. I mean, as I said, terlalu semangat, but I'm eager for a coffee. The interesting thing about the word semangat is that it means so many different things in different contexts. But for me this morning, it's like almost like excited, but almost like I have the initiative, too much initiative, or something along those lines this morning. So we're currently waiting for the machine to get hot. Now, sorry, what's your name?
Made, sir. Made.
Made. Of course it's Made.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Adam. He's the barista here. He was telling me that I've got to go to his friend's place that's just opened, his coffee shop, 4 days ago. So I'm going to go up there, which is on the way north. So that's a good direction for me to head as I go towards Penestanan. After just speaking to the guy, the barista here, and really loving that, this is what I sort of miss about a lot of places, is this personal interaction and real interaction. It's not fake. It's the thing I really want when I'm out and about. And as places get more crowded and busier, we as visitors become just pure transactions. And that's not anyone's fault. It's just the fact when there are so many of us around, we are just not going to have those interactions that we want. That's normal. But it just means that you need to search for those interactions a bit deeper. And that's one of the reasons why I'm out on the outskirts at the moment and heading up into Penestanan, because I want to see if that changes or not and whether I can love it. I sort of did that in the previous video where I started outside of town and walked into town. And I think the time of day really can affect that as well. If you've got locals who are being overwhelmed by foreign guests, they don't want to talk to you because there's just too many. But if you're out in the morning and the person's sweeping up and or burying their dog, they might have a bit of a chat and be open. And I want those personal connections, not just in Bali, but everywhere, because it's those personal connections that I think make your time in a place better. I was actually thinking that about places that you visit to eat food, for example. In a video recently in Sanur, I went to Oli Bakery, which I go to a lot. And I go there a lot because I enjoy the interaction with the staff there. The staff are very friendly. The owners of Oli, Wenny and Ray are always there. And they pass their friendly nature and open, friendly, talkative nature onto their staff. It sort of flows through the whole business. And when you go there, you feel good. And I find that in a few businesses in Sanur, it is really like that. For example, Warong Rainbow. Love it. the guy that owns the place will come and greet you and say hello, and it flows through the business. Warong motlu, the same. The lady cooking your food is the owner, and her warmth and generosity comes through in the food. It's enjoyable. You love your time there because it's a very personal, close experience. Kasi yeah. I feel the same at Serious Coffee Roasters. Now, Ken and Vina, who own that business, now have quite a big business. It was not their plan originally, but it's gotten quite busy. And there is a tendency with bigger businesses that you lose some of that closeness, some of that hospitality, some of the soul. But in their case, it hasn't gone away because Ken and Vina really prioritise hospitality and engaging with people. Ken will go and chat with one person for half an hour if that's what he feels like doing. And that person has a great experience because of it. He'll get around, give people water, even if they don't want it. Here's some water, have a chat, how are you going today? Just really interacting with people, making it a nice, enjoyable place. There's soul there in that place. And I think that's why I complain a lot about things like malls and big businesses where the whole focus of the business is money, money, money. An investor comes in, builds a big business, let's go and make money. They may be technically great businesses. The food might be bang on. Everything about it might be beautiful. The fit out might be good. But if the soul's not there, I can't love it. And that's why I love this place right now, because I just had a great chat with Made about his life in Q8. And that, for me, has started off my morning really well here in Ubud, or in the outskirts of Ubud. And I hope that's what it's going to be like for the rest of the time here as I go around early morning. That is a good looking coffee. Look at that one, that is beautiful. Made has done a good job there. Oh, you know what I look like here? That's like one of those Coptic or Orthodox paintings. I look like Jesus. Ooh, that's a good coffee. Mantap. That is a good coffee. Really good. Thank you, Made. That's a good coffee, that one. Yeah, no worries. Well, it should be good because he was over in Q8 as a barista, so he's Mendunia. Mendunia is a really good word. When something is Mendunia, it's gone global. Oh, I've got a bit of rain happening outside. I'm going to be walking in the rain. A good word for rain is hujan. Well, it's not just a good word. That is the word for rain. It's hujan. If it's just sprinkling, you can say grimis. It's grimis. It's just sprinkling a little bit. And that's what it looks like outside at the moment. It's grimis. Then you can say, if it's really heavy rain, there's a word that you use for rain when it's heavy. It's deras. Hujan deras. You can say lebat as well, I think. Hujan deras is a common one. Yeah, that deras word is really commonly used with the word rain. It's sort of a great little combo. See, when we use the word heavy, like the word heavy is usually associated with how heavy something weighs, but then we use it with rain. Are we talking about the weight of the rain? Not really. So in Indonesian, they don't use the word berat. Berat means heavy. You don't say hujan berat because it's not heavy rain. It's deras rain. Loving this coffee. Kasih ya. Ya, sampai jumpa. Okay, let's get going. Love that place. That's really cool. That coffee cost $46,400. I'm going to walk north. Found out this dog's name's Bobby. Hey, Bobby. Very anjing nakal. You made a mess earlier. All right, so I'm going to walk north, and the purpose is to eventually reach Penestanan and have a bit of a look around there. But I want to walk along this main road for, I don't know, a kilometre or so and see what's going on. I'll visit that guy's friend's coffee shop, see if he's open. He might not be open yet. That's one of the other things about coming out early is a lot of places don't open until like 8 or 9 o'clock because there's no customers around. It's interesting, one of the viewers of the channel named Fleur, she said it's one of the best times of the day to go out in the morning. You just got to get your 2 feet out of bed and onto the ground, and then you're on your way. That's the hardest part. Once you've done that, brilliant. It's always the thing though, isn't it? You know, you're sort of sleeping in, it's on your holiday and you're in a nice comfortable bed and you go, can't be bothered getting out of bed at the moment. But you should, because that little bit of a early morning rise makes things better, I reckon. Especially here in Bali, because all the locals tend to get out and about pretty early as well. I'm not sure what that is that they're doing here. It's something I've never really seen before. All these little things almost look like cages, don't they? And inside there's a massive stock of offerings that obviously people have been making. Interesting. Often what happens around here in Bali is that like a specific des adat will have a particular way of doing a particular ceremony or part of their religion, and it's so different to everywhere else in Bali, so you can't always know what's going on. Over there someone's got some homing pigeons going around. Interesting, quite often in Indonesia when here they come, they're going around in circles. Just there. Quite often in Indonesia when they've got these homing pigeons going around, they'll put like this little whistle thing on the bird so you can know where they are. And that happens all around Indonesia, it's not just a Bali thing. I love seeing all these warongs in the morning selling their wares at warongs on both sides. Selling all their fresh fruit and veg and dry goods as well. It's just the morning sort of thing is happening here in Ubud at the moment, or in the outskirts of Ubud, which I really love. I love to see that morning vibe. Wow, that's a cool wooden building, isn't it? There's a big for sale sign out the front, so someone's just gone and built that. Beautiful carving all throughout it, solid wood. Bit of a joglaw style roof on that, and it looks beautiful. For sale if you're looking for a wooden building somewhere up near Ubud. I'm not sure you make your money back on it though. That'd be a tough business, I reckon. Rather than walking along this main road, I might go along this little footpath, see if it goes anywhere. It might be someone's front driveway, which will be embarrassing. But if not, that'll be a great decision. Let's have a look. It is quite nice out here though. There seems to be some tourism businesses out here, because that doesn't look like a local house. And that thing's called In Spirit. It's one of those spiritual things. Okay, a bit of farming going on, some flowers. I think that is someone's driveway. I'll keep going, see where I can get to. Okay. Well, I don't know if this is a dead end, but it's pretty much like a dead end, isn't it? I'm in the rice fields now. I reckon I'm going to turn back here, because I don't like the look of that walkway up there by the palm trees. Even though someone told me once that they're not trees, they're plants or something. That's an odd one. A Colombian Italian kitchen. Not something I've really thought about as being a combination, actually, especially in Ubud. Interestingly, in this area, I'm passing a lot of smaller scale accommodation and villa options, or even places like called De Villa. I think that means the villa. And I find that to be a little bit strange. I had never expected that in this area there would be some sort of tourism industry. I don't know why you would stay here. Maybe because you're still a little bit away out of town. And yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Maybe they just want to sort of have a local experience like I'm having. Maybe. It's probably what it is, isn't it? If you wondered if I'm going to get bowled over by a car because I'm walking on the wrong side of the road, well, that might be true, but it's safer here than over there where there's no edge on the road. You've got to actually walk right on the road, whereas here, I've got a little bit of room. Still pretty dangerous though. Cars are flying. There's a great little cafe over there called the Tropical Ants Coffee and Eatery. And I'm really tempted to go there for my breakfast, but the problem is I haven't even gone to Penestanan yet. And if I keep stopping at places that look interesting, I'll never get there. Never get there. Actually, you know what? That's okay, isn't it? Because we don't have to get to Penestanan. We're going to try. But if I want to stop at a place, I should stop. So I'm going there. Get something to eat. It is beautiful though. Okay, this is the place. Hello. Morning. Mau makan sesuatu ya? I might sit over here. little bench. This is more or less the view from this little place. That's what I want. I want a nice little view. Unfortunately, there's a big paddle court across the road, which is a bit ugly. And I love paddle, but when I'm here, I don't want it. Well, it's not what I'm here for. So it's a weird thing, isn't it? I can be a lover of something, but hate it as well. I guess there's a time and a place, isn't there, for these things? For me, this is not the time or the place. It's really interesting at trying to fall in love with the place or a place that you've really gotten over. Trying to reconnect with it, it's quite difficult. I think it's possible, but it is difficult. Things have changed noticeably. At least I'm the only one here. There's one other person in this cafe. And the other cafe I was at, there was no one else. It's still pretty good. What really scares me a little bit about falling out of love with Ubud is that it's possible that you might fall out of love with Bali totally. And I think a lot of people already have fallen out of love with Bali totally. And that scares me a little bit, because when you love a place so much and you start to fall out of love with it, that's very disconcerting. So that's something I'm really thinking about as well. Am I ever going to fall out of love with Bali like a lot of people already have? The other thing I've been wondering about is, as we get older, we change as well. Our preferences change, what we like changes. We change as people. And is it us changing that makes us fall out of love with a place? I think that's a fair claim to make. It is a fair claim to say that the place isn't really changing, you are changing. I can't really get my head around that, because I know my preferences over the years have changed, and what I like and so forth has changed. And I know the place has changed as well, but it's not really the core issue. The core issue is we've changed, isn't it? Before I even taste this coffee, I've already decided in my own mind that if it's not good, it doesn't matter, because I'm very happy in this little cafe. So let's give it a go.
Mantap.
I was fully expecting that to be a bad coffee, but it's actually a very good one. So I'm happy with that. We're in a great little place and I love the coffee. Can't get any better. Love it, little bicky. Some of these discussions sort of remind me of what used to be popular tourist destinations in Australia. Well, in New South Wales, where I grew up, the popular tourist destinations used to be the central coast of New South Wales, where it's just suburbia now. Places like Foster, Port Macquarie, quite suburban now. Surfers Paradise, people used to go there on holidays. I think they still do, but in the 80s, people used to love going there. But we change. Our tastes change, it's okay. And I think that happens here in Bali as well. Our tastes change. I mean, this is no Surfers Paradise though, is it? A simple omelette for 18,000. You've got to be happy with that. No need to test this, because you can't get an omelette wrong, can you?
You are my sun. You are my sunshine. You are my sun. Red away. You are my sun.
Coffee 28, omelette 18. Love it. As the morning goes on, this particular road I'm on is getting busier. When I sort of looked at it on the map, I thought it's a bit of a side road. I think back a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, I remember this being some sort of rice-field road or walk. It's nothing like that now. So I've sort of rediscovering this part of Ubud, and it's a little bit different to what I remember. I think it's called Jalan Nakula. As you get older, you don't sort of put up with as many things that you used to put up with. You also have memories from a long time ago. You've got this nostalgia thing going on as well. You remember how places used to be, but also places are changing as well. And there's a whole combination of things that sort of add up to make you fall out of love with the place. The thing with Bali generally though, beautiful banyan tree over there. The thing with Bali generally though is that it's managed to sort of adapt to my style over the years. So as I've changed, I've still been able to find pockets that I really enjoy. Like I really like Sanura. I like other parts of Indonesia as well. Ubud though, for me, is really, I'm really finding it tough to love it. That's a little graveyard, I think. I'm doing my best, you know, I'm coming at different times and looking at different places. And I really do want to love it. But geez, it's tough. That's a cool sign. Don't do number ones or number twos or throw rubbish in this area, please. Thanks. You know, one of the things I've been thinking about as well, and I would be part of the problem if this is true, when I see people, like foreigners living here, that makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable as well. I feel like I'm almost intruding for some reason. Like when I went into that cafe, there was one guy sitting there, just a normal guy, there's nothing wrong with him, but I felt a little bit, I don't know if anxious is the word, but I felt a little bit uncomfortable going in there, almost like I was disturbing him. And that's an odd feeling to have. But I think it's because he looks like not a tourist, but someone who lives there, very comfortable. And you know, there's probably some sort of status thing going on where I'm thinking, oh, this guy knows this area really well and I'm just sort of invading his space and I'm coming in with a camera. And I don't know, that felt weird. I'm not really sure what that is. But if that is the case, maybe if you're a visitor to somewhere like Sanur and you come across someone like me who lives there, that could be a little bit disconcerting as well. You know, foreigners living in Bali now is a thing, and I'm one of them. Well, that's cool. Young Artist Centre in Penestanan. I guess we're getting pretty close to where I want to be. So we're in Penestanan now. So this is the main road that goes through. Oh, there's that Soki coffee. But it's closed. It's not open. Okay. Well, that's sad, isn't it? Unless it's that place there. That looks like a barber. Oh, I've just had a coffee anyway, so I don't need another one. Hello. So this is the main road anyway of Penestanan. It actually winds up through to the Champuan area, you know, where the bridge is in Ubud. This road sort of winds up around there, so we'll head up that direction. Always love this part of Sayan, going down into the little river valley here. It's, at night it's pitch black coming through here as well. Looks like a bit of traffic at the moment. It's always been a shortcut road for people coming between Sayan and Ubud Central. It looks like, yeah, a few more cars come down here this way these days. I actually might go up these stairs here rather than get into the main road. Too busy along the main road. Get into the inside of Penestanan. I know if I go up these stairs, I can get around the back somewhere, across a different river valley, and then into the internals of Penestanan, which is not really open to cars. There are some roads that are, but it's usually very quiet because it's so narrow. You get motorbikes in there though. This is a much better way to go. That main road, historically, it's been where most of the cafes and stuff are. And in the internals, because it's not a through road, you have the smaller family run operations, which is what I prefer anyway. It was in this area about 25 years ago that I met a foreigner who'd just moved here to Penestanan, and I was a visitor to Penestanan, and he sort of wanted to show me the program that he set up. And his program was to clean up the rubbish situation, because what had happened is that the local people at that time who were living closer to the river were dumping all their rubbish over this concrete wall, and that sort of flowed down the side of the riverbank like a big slug. It was a temporary rubbish dump, and he had a great idea to sort of solve that problem. He actually paid for rubbish to be collected and so forth around here, and a really good solution. I think we're going the wrong way. It's a dead end. I have to go up here, I think. He was so proud of it. He also showed me a particular river crossing that had been previously filled with rubbish. And he'd paid all the locals to go and clean it all up, and gave people jobs and also cleaned the village up, which was really great. At the time, I just thought, gee, you know, with a little bit of ingenuity, a little bit of extra cash, you can really change the world. And I sort of looked at things really optimistically at that point. I thought, this is brilliant, you know, we can do everything. A couple of years later, I sort of thought, I'd love to see how that's going over there. So I actually came back to Penestanan, and the first place I went to was the bridge that he'd showed me that he'd paid so much money to have cleaned up and put in a new system for rubbish collections. I looked over the edge, and gee, it was like the biggest rubbish dump you could imagine. It was huge. It had just turned back into a real massive rubbish dump in that river valley, and all my optimism disappeared. That sort of got me into this whole learning about white saviour. And it's a thing that happens in Asia a lot, where we white people, it's not just white, but foreigners, we're going to a place where we think, oh, these stupid locals don't know what they're doing, I'm going to educate them. And we go in there with our Western ideals and our money, and we think we're going to change the world, but actually you don't change anything. Because we're going in there with the wrong mindset. We're going in there with a mindset that we know the way things should be, and we're going to teach people how to do it. And it's a really terrible mindset to go into a place like Indonesia with, that's for sure. And I'm generalising just a little bit when I say these things, but sometimes when we're new in a foreign land, we think we know better. We think we know better than the locals. And the more you sort of come to a place like Indonesia or Bali, the more you sort of realise, you know what? The way we do things is different for sure. Not necessarily better. Not necessarily better. Now, when we start to blame the locals for throwing the rubbish in the river, we're sort of lacking a bit of context. Because what we sort of think is, oh, well, that's an easy thing to resolve. Hang on, that's where I had the... Oh, yeah. That's where I had coffee this morning. It's got a sign saying, Tavara, just 2.3 kilometres that way. Well, that's how far I've walked. Yeah, we sort of come in and say, oh, well, that's easy to fix. Just put in a rubbish service and the problem's solved. But it's not as simple as that, because there are other issues that are involved in this whole thing, why it's happening. It's not just a matter of putting a rubbish service in and it's fixed. There are lots of local contexts that need to be accounted for. A lot of them. And it's very complicated. It seems simple, but it's not. All right, this is the back way into Penestanan. Beautiful, isn't it? Still is beautiful. You can get down there to the river. I probably should do that. Let's have a look. I'm not sure if this is one of the places. It's too long ago for me to remember the exact spot, but it was something like this. Oh, look at this. Don't fish here, it says. That is beautiful. And I don't see any rubbish. That is amazing. Yeah, beautiful. Little Ganesh. And the smell of the dupa, the incense stick, just get it into you, you know? This Bali all round, beautiful. The whole thing about this rubbish thing, I mean, look, it's not that I'm an expert and I know everything, but as I've sort of been here year after year after year, and I'm sure you at home who have been here a lot start to understand these things too, is that there are cultural, social issues, governmental issues that lead to some of the problems that we see with rubbish and the way society works here. And it's not all wrong. I think we can agree that the rubbish situation is wrong. I think we can agree on that. But it doesn't mean there are bad people doing these things. It's just the way things are. And locals themselves want things to change. But it's a process. Sometimes with our own culture, we often say, this is being done wrong. And if it's being done wrong, then you are a bad person. And it's not always like that in Indonesia. When I was coming back from Lombok, what was it, last week or whatever it was, I was on the boat speaking to a retired school teacher. And I didn't put it on the channel, and it was just having a bit of a chin wag. And he was talking about discipline. He was brought up in a very disciplined household. So everything he did was very structured, and he tried to instill that into his students, and he had a lot of very disciplined and successful students because of that. Now that was one of the things that he sort of believed needed to be instilled education-wide in Indonesia. But that's just one man's opinion, and one man who's doing his job as a teacher in a particular part of Indonesia. It's a big job. Certainly you don't want foreigners coming in and telling locals you should be disciplined. I mean, that'd be pretty rude, wouldn't it? That whole lack of discipline thing is actually one of the reasons that we love Bali. The chaos of it is part of what we love. And with that chaos comes bad things too. Now, coming full circle with what we've been talking about today, about falling out of love with a place, places becoming soulless, is that I think discipline and things being orderly go together with a lack of character and a lack of soul. I think that's what happens. And when you come to a place like Indonesia, that chaotic nature is part of what we really love here. It's part of the soul of the place. And trying to separate one from the other, I think, may be impossible. It's funny, Ken from Serious Coffee Roasters in Sanur is dealing with this very issue now. He wants the chaotic nature, the hospitality, the warmness to be there. And he's dealing with parking issues at the moment, trying to keep parking issues disciplined while keeping hospitality up. It's quite difficult because you don't want to tell people, don't do this, don't do that. But you also need to keep things a little bit disciplined, otherwise you fall into the problem where you disrupt neighbours and so forth. So his solution is to try, you're all right. That guy coming through on a bit of a run there. So yeah, I guess the story is that for him, what he's done, his solution is actually to go and rent more land so people can park cars and not disrupt people, while also keeping that hospitality going. I guess this whole tension between hospitality, soul, character, and discipline is a real tough one to sort of get your head around. And I think it's part of what we start to not really like here in Bali, is that things get disciplined and sterile, like a mall. We don't want to come here for that. But we also want the streets to be cleaned up as well. I don't know. I'm actually a bit confused about it all as well. A lot of people have been telling me about Yellow Flower Cafe in recent times. I'm not going to go there today. I've been there a lot in the past, over the past few years. So I'm not going to go there, but I will show you what it's like down this way. That way down there is a stairway down to Champuhan. Fantastic set of stairs that you can sort of come up from Ubud to get into this area. But I'm going to go up this way. There's a little walking path along here that I've been along over the years. Foreigners have been living up this way, well, for a lot longer than I've been sort of coming to Bali. It's been a very popular place for foreigners for a very long time, and was sort of a place I was thinking about living at one point. I don't think I'd live here now, but it still has a very good feel about it because cars can't really access many of these laneways. You can stay up here and have such a great time. You get volcano views over in that direction if you get the right property. Like some of these places have a second story which look out over the volcano. There's some nice little cafes around here. It's quite low key, and it is within walking distance of the centre of town, so you don't have to get transport up there. I mean, it is a 1.5 k's or something like that, but it's not a big deal. Down and then up. This whole area is just a beautiful area of Ubud. This is a place or an area that I could fall back in love with, for sure. Mainly because of the lack of cars. Sadly, the rice fields that used to be in these areas are all sort of dried up and not used anymore. I mean, rice farming here in Indonesia is always quite marginal anyway. Unless you're in a very rural area, it's not really worth it. You know, you need lots of land. The profit's very, very small. You've got fertilizer to put on the fields. You've got to buy either machines or beasts of burden to plough the fields. You've got to pay people to come and help you harvest. You know, if you're in a tourist area like this, there's just no point. You're better off just selling the land or renting it out long term, and you'll you'll get a lot more money than growing rice, that's for sure. Hey, look, I'm going to get back to that main road now. And I really love this part of Ubud. Beautiful. That road up there is a little bit busy, but there's some nice places along there. I would actually be quite happy to stay in Penestanan again. Quite a nice place to sort of base yourself, I think. Especially because of the no car thing. Thanks for coming along for the ride today, and thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all things Sanur and the rest of Indonesia. Catch you next time, and sampai jumpa.